Well, now let's turn attention to our COVID-19 pandemic survival series, where we feature entrepreneurs who have been hit by the pandemic but managing to stay afloat. Well, tonight we'll be talking to the CEO of Trendz, Joyce Owusu, to learn more about how she's made it this year. We want to remind you first, though, of her story. Watch this clip.
Fashionista, her passion, oh no, her curiosity led her to try her hands on making necklaces, bracelets and other accessories.
I saw a beaded chaliwote or a flip-flop that had been decorated with beads. I saw it to be something very interesting, something nice, and I wanted to try my hands on. So I remember I bought the slippers and I got the beads and then I designed it. I just had to critically look at what I saw the first time and try to see if I could replicate or emulate or do something similar or same as I had seen.
Joyce didn't know how good she was at making the stuff she does until she started doing them. How she's able to do them, she has no idea. She'd make accessories for friends and family. Then she realized it could be good business.
I hadn't even conceived the idea of getting it into a business. I thought I was just having fun. So I realized that anytime I wore one to work, people liked it. Then I was working with a firm. People liked it. They wanted to know where I bought it from, who made it, and all of that. So I told them I make it myself. People started to request for it. So I made them, took them to work, and that was how I started. I started with 50 Ghana cedis. My very first capital, the money I used to start the business was 50 Ghana cedis. And what I did was that anytime I sold, I added a profit back to whatever amount I had to buy the raw materials. And that's how it's been so far.
With that amount, Trendz GH got to his feet. All that while in school. For the past 2 years, she has had to juggle between school and her passion.
Trust me, it's been wahala. But God's grace has been enough. There were days I only slept for just 2 hours and 3 hours, yes.
Joyce has done amazing work for projects such as the MTN Hitmaker Seasons 4 and 5 and Miss Ghana 2015. All that hard work has paid off.
Really paid off. As you can see, she won an award that year. Well, that story was shot 4 years ago, and it's great to catch up with Joyce Owusu one more time, who is CEO of Trendz. Good evening to you, Joyce. Hope you're having the best of the season, and happy holidays.
Good evening, Daryl. Happy holidays.
Oh, great.
It's been good so far.
All right. If you're watching the marketplace, I promise you that we're going to have her right back on the program. And so she is here. Hopefully you can hear her, and very soon we'll see her. And so I want to begin from the point about, they always say that there are 3 things that are of necessity to us humankind: food, clothing, and shelter. So is that supposed to say the fashion industry was not hit as other businesses during the period of the pandemic, because people have to dress anyway?
Hello, Daryl.
I can hear you. I'm hoping to see you soon.
Okay, I'm supposed to be live. My video is on.
Carry on. Let's go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So during the pandemic, at the height of it, we had to go on the lockdown. And because of that, there was a halt on social events and social activities such as weddings, parties, and fashion shows, and those things that do attract the sale of our stuff, since they are basically for adorning ourselves to go for such events. The pandemic really, I would say, has hit the industry. Some weddings or some events were cancelled, and even though people had made payments and they had to cancel, or some of them had to run them at a very smaller number, having to follow the COVID protocols, it affected us because some of them had to come back for their monies. Some had to those who had not paid at all called off the orders. And it wasn't good for business at all.
I can imagine. So there was a lockdown. People were not going out so much. The parties and the events, of course, some hospitality sectors or some businesses in the hospitality industry had to close down because of that. So that makes a lot more sense. So then what was your game plan to survive the impact of the pandemic?
One thing that the pandemic actually brought to bear very well was the fact or the need for businesses to go 100% online, to engage with their customers, to make sure that they are staying up to date with their customers. So for Purple Trendz, for instance, even though we were not selling, there were no events, occasionally I would post something on my pages. I would update my followers and my customers on the number of people that have been affected or infected so far by the virus. I share what was being shared from the Ministry of Health. I was sharing past videos of some past works and events, pictures and all of that, to make them know that even though we were in such times, we were still there. And we wanted them to have us in mind. So then when the lockdown is eventually over, they will still come back to us. So it was one of the things that I did. So talking of social media, WhatsApp was one. WhatsApp was number one. Instagram was super. Facebook was amazing. Twitter too was on point. As I've synced my Instagram and my Facebook and Twitter account. So whatever I post on Instagram automatically goes onto my Twitter and then also onto my Facebook. And
great.
Occasionally, there were some customers, very loyal customers too, that I could call to check up, and it's really helped. It's gone a long way.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Well, yeah, very interesting. The number of businesses that have had to go online during this period of the pandemic, and it's certainly the way to go in future. Lots more people are going to be doing shopping online, and that leads me to the next point, because even though you've gone online, you open a shop, because some more people are still used to the traditional way of shopping. Tell us about that.
So a lot of people are kind of comfortable buying from you in person. They know that I walk to your shop, I pick the item from here. So if I have any challenges, I should be able to walk to you in your shop or wherever you are, to be able to talk to you or let you work on it for me. And then also a lot of online buyers or consumers, I have come to realize have trust issues based on past experiences with certain businesses, whereby they pay for a certain product or service and they never get served or delivered to. So a lot of customers are quite comfortable coming to you in person to pick up or to pay or make the purchase and take the product away.
And I may just be one of those people who has trust issues and will never get used to shopping online. And so tell me what your expectations are for the new year, what possible challenges you think may come up, and what would you tell your colleague entrepreneurs to be on the lookout for in 2021?
So one thing I've noticed even now is that because a lot of the suppliers are getting their supplies by air, it's made the cost of raw materials quite expensive. It has, and then also, for instance, with Nigeria, we get some of our materials from Nigeria, and Nigeria has closed their borders for quite a number of months now. So with the little that some are able to smuggle into the country, it in a way also affected the pricing, which has eventually affected the total cost of the finished product that we also make. So I believe, and I would want to encourage or urge other entrepreneurs who are either in my industry or out of my industry that going into the new year, we should give room for things as this pandemic that came that we were not prepared for. I know that a lot of startups are going to collapse after this whole thing is over. Some are not doing well, even as of now. And so I would urge that we should give room for the unforeseen things that, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people did not predict that COVID will come up and the whole of 2020 will start from January to March and boom, we see December. So one, we should make room for unforeseen circumstances. Two, once we work and at least we're able to make some proceeds, we should be able to save also for the same unforeseen moments and times. Because the time will come where you may not be making sales and profits. And what you've been able to save or whichever investment you've been able to make will be the one to hold you to whenever God knows how long.
Right. That's great perspective you've shared with us this evening. And I mean, it's sad to know that some startups are going to collapse, but it's also inspiring to know that people like you are still holding the fort and keeping your businesses afloat. And so thanks for speaking with us tonight, Joyce Owusu. I just may pass through your shop to get, is there a fascinator you have on your hair? I may just pass through and then purchase that. But that was Joyce Owusu giving us an insight into how her business is faring during this period of the pandemic.